A not so good man didn't leave an inheritance to his children's children. If it says a good man will, that means a not so good man didn't do that. So we don't want to just march and picket. We don't want to plead for change. We don't want to just occupy Wall Street. We saw that during the financial crisis. They was occupying Wall Street. We don't just merely want to consume news. No. We don't want to just protest. We don't want to do just any of that. Here's what we want to do. So I've never seen a Brinks truck behind a hearse, so you can't take it with you. Oh, my goodness. I used to hear that growing up. And in my book, one of my best-selling books, and so many people have been buying it lately and saying, hey, you got to do a second, and I'm working on a second. I touch on that tremendously. That is another myth that we need to debunk that, because that kind of thinking is what has caused so many people in our community to, in many cases, don't get in life insurance. We have a lot of chicken fries, fish fries. Now we have a lot of GoFundMe accounts to help bury people. And they say, well, shoot, I ain't leaving no money to these folks. All they're going to do is spend it when I'm gone. Oh, my goodness. Well, if you taught them properly, that may not happen. And two, we don't want to leave people a whole lot of debt. If you're looking from a biblical standpoint, Torah is going to say a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So the reciprocal got to be the case. A not so good man didn't leave an inheritance to his children's children. If it says a good man will, that means a not so good man didn't do that. And we don't want to leave people a whole lot of debt like that and barely can bury you. You want people to, I want them to be up there. Whoa, what did granddad leave you? God almighty. What? He left you that too? Oh, my goodness. And then you want them to be able to know what to do with it. But more importantly, the concept that comes behind it is spend everything. Don't worry about it. You can't take it to heaven because it can't go to heaven with you. You're correct. The actual currency, the money, the tender that we use here on earth, I don't care if it's euro, I don't care if it's ruble, I don't care if it's dollar, that tender will not go to heaven or paradise. You're correct. However, your good deed will. And say you leave money to a soup kitchen. And the king and the prophet David spoke about this in the book of Psalms. You leave money to a soup kitchen that feeds the homeless. And every homeless person that comes to that soup kitchen when you're alive and when you're dead, God credits that to your account in heaven. So although you can't take the tender with you, the currency, you're constantly gaining a reward while you're in heaven. Leave money to your alma mater at school. Well, every student that gets to go to school because of some money you left, or they get in housing, or they build another dorm, if you will, through the money you left, that gets credit to your account. So we really got to change our mind with that. No, you can't take the tender, the currency to heaven, but your good deed will follow you even in heaven, and God will credit that to your account. And David knew something about doing some good deeds and bad deeds, and he writes about that in the book of Psalms. So let's change that thought. And this kind of lines right into rain. And so when we look at rain, it is high time that we begin to reign. I'm often asked, well, about competition. I'm asked about fitting in. I'm asked about what's your objectives, Hakeem, when you're coming into a particular town or city or organization. And I'm crystal clear. I'm not here to fit in. I'm here to dominate. Period. I don't want to fit in and go with the go along. We should be dominating in everything we do. Now, we've dominated in music. We've dominated in entertainment. We've dominated in sports. Many can say we dominated in politics because we had a black president, 2 terms, that's been the best president this country has ever seen, the world has ever seen, especially what we've seen in current administration when his first term and second term. I bet a lot of folks is wishing we had that great Obama president back again. So we dominate in politics. We have a few that has made money, but go back and look how they make their money. This is why we don't have the ability to reign. They make their money in entertainment. They make their money in sports. Few made it in financial services, in CEOs, in corporate, in medicine. It's a very few, but most are high-paid employees, athletes, entertainers. And so there's but so much they can say. Perfect example of this. Spike Lee got a new movie out, him and Denzel Washington. And here it is in 2025. And we wanted to go see Spike Lee's new movie. And it's not playing in all the doggone movie theaters. We struggled with this in the 80s and the 90s with Spike Lee. But nothing against him, but God almighty, Madea shows up in every doggone freaking movie theater we can see because it's not really giving great information. It's not informing us, and it's not helping us to reign. It's helping us to do just the opposite. So we don't want to just march and picket. We don't want to plead for change. We don't want to just occupy Wall Street. We saw that during the financial crisis. They was occupying Wall Street. We don't just merely want to consume news. No. We don't want to just protest. We don't want to do just any of that. Here's what we want to do. So instead of just marching and picketing, we want to train in reign society a new generation of shareholder activists. Shareholder activists. Well, why, Hakeem? Remember, we had to fight as a people, our ancestors, for voting rights, which is being pretty much dismantled in so many different ways. A lot of advancements that was made, as we've seen, is going to continue to do so. But our ancestors had to fight for the right to vote. They got the right to vote, but then they put extra hurdles in front of them so that they really couldn't vote. We saw that in the last election. We saw that previously. They're doing it right now with Texas and so forth, that all kinds of ways to keep individuals from voting. And questions will come up. Well, what concern of that is, Hakeem? Why should be concerned? When they're fighting that hard to keep people from voting all of these years and decades, it has to have some value to it. But some people don't believe it has that much value, and they kind of just let it go until they deal with the ramifications, as we see now. So we got the right to vote, and we've exercised it, and we made some success. Well, with your money in your retirement plan, in your investments, in your portfolios, if you own a share of stock or if you are part of a mutual fund, they normally pass that right to some other person. But once you understand that you can have one share of a company, one, not a million, not 2 million, not 100,000, that one share allows you to vote. And that shareholder vote allows you to actually go to the board annual or quarterly meeting. You don't have to beg to go to the meeting. You don't have to picket to go to the meeting. You don't have to march to go to the meeting. You just have to be a shareholder. That's it. And you can even put forth a resolution to make forth some change in that corporation. And so I tell people that the voters vote for voting, political vote, and the shareholder corporate vote are equal, if not even more important today, because of all the things they're doing in the political realm that is run by the corporate realm with all the major corporate donors and the PACs and super PACs that bundle billions of dollars. That comes from corporate. And so if you are a shareholder of a corporation and you are concerned about DEI because they rolled it back, thank God, Jamal Bryant is going after them on boycotting. And, we're always going to support in that regard. But when I'm asked, and I was on the phone with one of the presidents of the NAACP just a couple of weeks ago, and I used to be the economic chair for the NAACP Connecticut chapter, of which I instituted this there, taught it at one of the conferences. Jesse Jackson took my title and ran with it. So we've taught this at major levels, and we still teach it. And so then you get the National Baptists undercut him, take a couple pennies that Target throws them, and now we don't have that power and impact. But one of the reasons I wasn't fully for boycotting, because you have a lot of Black employees there and brown-skinned people there. And guess what? Who's going to get laid off first? They will. And guess what? What about those vendors that's there and they fought so hard to get on the shelves of Target? And well, guess what? If we're not going to support them, they're going to lose space in Target, and then they're going to lose ground and territory, and they're going to hurt their bottom line, which means they're going to have to start laying on people in their Black-owned businesses. So what's an alternative or a complementary approach to it all while people are marching and picketing and boycotting outside? If you are a shareholder of Target, you pick up the phone, you get the notice, you show up. Imagine Gym Nation with, 2 million of us showing up to a Target boardroom with 2 million shares to vote. If 2 million of us just have one share each, we show up to Target boardroom, 2 million strong to vote, and we say we want to put forth an entire new management team. We tired of this management team.